Utah's got a very good basketball team. And I was saying this earlier. I was telling you at the break. I was just kind of thinking about this coming in and smiling because L.A. is such a disaster right now. They've got the best player, one of the best players in the history of the game, who's still a top 5 player in the league when he's healthy. They've got a great core of young talent, but they're a disaster because their management, their ownership, their coaching is a disaster. And I said at the beginning of the show today, I said, if you're a Jazz fan, you should feel good about this. You have got stable and smart ownership. You've got a great front office, an unbelievable coaching staff, and a great pool of young players. That's all great. Now smile. Now all that stuff has to take another notch up. You have to ramp it up. You got to go from 10 to 11 now, in the words of the infamous Spinal Tap. And you've got to do that this summer, and that's on Dennis and Justin.
Right, and here's the other piece of good news for Jazz fans. Not only are you not the dysfunctional Lakers, which is just such a mess, and there's a lot to dig into here. First of all, the people that are saying Ty Lue deserves 5 years, you're nuts. Nobody's going to give Ty Lue 5 years.
Right.
What this is, hey, LeBron wants you to be the coach. So coach the team as long as LeBron's going to be here, which is going to be 3 years. So, I've heard people say, Ty Lue deserves 5 years. He can march in. No, he doesn't. A 3-year contract is pretty standard. Quinn Snyder just signed a 3-year extension last year. And so most organizations, now it happens from time to time. You'll get a 4 or 5 year deal, but a 3-year deal is pretty standard. So I just wanted to get that out there. If you're the Lakers, you don't want Ty Lue coaching your franchise forever. You want Ty Lue coaching your team because LeBron James wants Ty Lue coaching his team. So you say to him, coach as long as LeBron is here, which is going to be 3 years. We're going to pay you $6-7 million a year. I know he's getting paid from Cleveland, so he doesn't really need the cash, but everybody could probably use an extra, 20 mil. I mean, if you're going to 18 to 20 mil, it's no matter how much money you have, you're going to take an extra 18 to 20 mil to coach in the league for 3 years. So they're a dumpster fire. J.B. Bickerstaff, Lionel Hollins, Mike Woodson, Frank Vogel. And I think Frank's a good coach, but there's something up with Frank where his personality rubs people the wrong way everywhere he's at.
Well, here's the other thing, too. Frank Vogel worked fine in Indianapolis. I don't know that Frank Vogel works in Los Angeles.
Right, and Orlando didn't work. There's something up with this dude's personality. But the other piece of good news, to get back to what we were saying for the Jazz, is you're finally seeing Golden State for the first time maybe start to come back down to earth a little bit with not just the Durant injury during the postseason, but the fact that he may be high speed ahead to New York. Okay, and then there's some rumblings that, and I don't know how much of this is real, but there's some rumblings that Klay Thompson is looking around saying, I'm sick of the scraps. I'm sick of being the afterthought. I want to go do my own thing, and maybe he's a Laker in a year or so. So Golden State, for the first time, I think you can see the light at the end of that tunnel. And Houston, this is Chris Paul's last run. I mean, he's on the books for another 3 years. I mean, that contract, you can look it up. I think the last year he makes 42 mil. But Houston's going to start coming back down to earth. So what we're seeing is kind of an evening out, and this has always happened, historically speaking, in the league, where things regression to the mean. And once these teams kind of come back down to earth, the Jazz will have a chance to catapult up because they're so young. The problem is now the East has 3 to 4 really, really good teams as well.